This is how I personalize 1,000 or more enterprise cold emails per day just using a simple AI workflow. Enterprise and B2B client acquisition, email, the entire game has changed. You can't just manually send emails, sending 40 a day, manually typing everything out. If you're going to want to have any shot, you need to keep up. But luckily, there are tools that allow you to hit scale and still keep the same level of quality as an individual writing the email. Lead generation lists are thankfully a lot easier to come by now, and there's a ton of contact information for decision makers, for CEOs, and for people that do need your solution. But on the other side of that, you are having a ton of people that are spamming their inboxes that make it hard for you with a real solution to get in there and talk to them. I personally send over 12,000 cold emails a day for just a handful of clients. And when it comes to personalization, there are solutions now that make it so that every single email can feel like it was written for the person you're talking to. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how I do it, how to personalize, how it works, and why it's a non-negotiable and why you need it in 2025. If at any point in this video you want my help setting up a campaign or implementing this workflow, then just go to the link in my description, schedule a call with me, and we'll be able to set it up for your business. So the way that you set up this system is very simple, okay? It all starts here. First, you need to start with what is your ideal message to your customers. So before, you might be able to send an email that it just says, hey name, if we could save you 30% on production costs, would that be interesting? A sign off, maybe a proof point at the end. What you can say now is, hey name, we have a solution that can save you 30% on production costs for this specific type of medical device. We wanted to talk to someone who oversees the specific thing they oversee to make sure it's a good fit. Do you have 10 minutes for a quick chat? There's obviously going to be a million ways that you can make this better or worse, but for now, we're going to focus on being able to surface this type of personalization. So how do you get this level of personalization? Two things for every single one of these people. I'm going to show you exactly how using a tool called Clay. This right here is a Clay table. And if you've never used Clay, I'm basically going to show you in this video exactly what it does and how to use it. But this is pretty much what you'd get from just an Apollo output. And so what you're going to do here is take whatever signals you can, and you're going to leverage AI to be able to pull these signals out, right? So first step is figure out what you want to say and what you need to personalize. Second step is go to the data and pull it out. So what do we do first? First, we have first name, last name, title, company, email, number of employees, personal LinkedIn, website, and company LinkedIn. So let's first start here. So there's two things we need. There's type of medical devices and there's thing they oversee. So let's first get the input for type of medical devices. We're simply going to go here. What you're going to do is you're going to go to add enrichment, and what you're going to need is something that can actually crawl the internet. And so if you use Clay, you'll know this, but not every one of the ChatGPTs or Claudes are going to be able to use the internet right off the bat. So what you're going to need to use is either the Claygent or Perplexity. I find that Perplexity is better for this type of research, so that's what we're going to use here. And we simply put our prompt here the same way that we would put it into ChatGPT. So we want to be a little bit specific, and you can reference data as well. I'll show you exactly what I mean. So you are a company and product researcher. Your job is to go through a company's website, find their flagship products, and tell us what their core solution is. You will review the websites for these medical device companies and report back a list of their products and a one-line summary of what they do, written in basic high school English. Now, how do we tell them what the website is? You simply go here, and you'll say, here is the website, and you just type in / and you can take it directly to the column that you want, which in this case is website. Now, every time you run this, it is going to cost money, so you always want to test it on a couple columns, or on a couple rows first. Great. So now we're going to say, great. So now we have our output, and we can take a look at it very simply here. Now, obviously, this is still not in a format that we can copy and paste into this type of email here, right? So what we're going to do is tell it, now that we have some details on it, we're going to ask it to synthesize it. And this is where we're going to use ChatGPT or OpenAI. So you can use Clay's AI prompt generator to help it figure out the right way to summarize the prompt in its own model. And so what you're going to do is just speak in normal terms, but give it the specifics it needs, right? There's a million ways I can make this better or worse, but for now, this is what we're going with. You are going to review the breakdown of the medical devices this company makes and summarize in 2 to 4 words written in high-level terms. By high level, I don't mean unspecific. I mean it like this. You wouldn't say clean tech sonar scrub. You'd say medical equipment cleaning materials. The only return that output, no introductions, periods, or anything else, just the 2 to 4 words that can fit in the sentence. We have a solution that can save 30% on production costs for, then the output. Find the company breakdown here. How am I coming up with this prompt? Very simple, because we mapped exactly what we are trying to fill in what phrase. We'll know exactly the type of phraseology it needs. And you can tell it exactly what it's going to go into. So we'll go ahead and save this. So first we'll click generate. As you can see, it's writing it all out for me. And in a moment here, once it's done, it'll shift it over and bam, you'll see exactly how it writes it out here. You always want to go through and make sure it's not doing something you don't want it to say. And I'll just do a quick read through here. This is great, right? This is exactly what I was going after, which is why examples always help. They have their own error handling here and more examples. They kind of go overkill, but you get the point. Now, very simple here. I'm just going to use ChatGPT. And if you have your own API key, you can use your own ChatGPT API. So that saves you some money there. And again, we're going to create this column. And then I'm going to run it 2 or 3 times. And let's see what we get. And with all of this, it's always important at these moments to double check what the output is with what it should be in reality. So for example here, medical monitoring consumables, AED defibrillators, and organ preservation devices, okay? Just to be extra sure, we're gonna go and check out, let's do this one because this is an easy one to verify. Calmed equipment. That's exactly what it is. It's an AED, perfect, defibrillator. And we go here, this is an organ preservation device. There it is, new standard of care in organ transplantation. This is exactly what that is. This looks like a case for it. And you can go through here and make sure that everything looks good. So we have now our output. So if we were to export this right now, we would have a CSV with all of the ideal phrases that we can just go ahead and input right here. We have a solution that can save 30% on production costs for AED defibrillators. We have a solution that can save 30% on production costs for organ preservation devices. Perfect. Now, we need to do the same thing, but for this. And so now we want to be able to take this sentence and we want to find the thing they oversee and figure out how to make it so that this is a relevant sentence for them, right? So what we'll do is we'll go to Clay here and we will, the same thing that we did here, where we did some research on the profile of the person, which is right here. And we'll also use the company data that we already have, which is right here, to get the answer that we want. And so I went ahead already and I populated from this enrichment. This is all I did. I went here, I searched LinkedIn under add enrichment, and I got to Snove, where you can enrich a person from the URL. And you'll find that once you do this, all you have to do is go to add fields and pick whatever fields you wanted to add. And all I wanted from there was their position. So that's all I took. So here's what we have. Here's our output now. Now we know the president and CEO is here. We have the VP of operations, we have the vice president of marketing. So what do we do? Now we're going to do another enrichment. We can use OpenAI again here because we don't have to go to the internet. We'll make it very simple. We'll say your job. So what you would say here is your job is to look at the company's description and the title of the person who works there and make an educated reference on what they oversee and what their responsibilities are as it relates directly to the products they make. Your output should be 5 to 7 words and fit into this sentence. We wanted to talk to someone who oversees the output to make sure it's a good fit. Again, give them an example. If it's the CEO at a medical cleaning company, you might say something like, what the CEO would oversee is the expansion and growth of the company, right? The output again should only be 5 to 7 words, and here's the information. So we go ahead and we generate the prompt. Okay, so here's what we have. Just go ahead and make sure that everything looks good. This is the title, strict to 5 words. They probably gave us some examples, so yep, perfect, right? The VP of Quality and Regulatory Output, that's probably what they want. Head of Product, Roadmap, Future Delivering Product Market Fit, this is perfect. So we're gonna go ahead and save it. And we're going to run it for these rows. Now, take a look at what this has done, okay? So let's read our sentence from the top and we'll just use these. So this is what it's going to do. You're going to be able to download this and upload it into an email sequencer and be able to leverage every single one of these points. So, hi name, we have a solution that can save 30% on production costs for cardiac arrest devices. We wanted to talk to someone who oversees product strategy, partnerships, and regulatory approval to make sure it's a good fit. Got 10 minutes for a quick chat. Naturally, you want to obviously edit your list to make sure that you have all the right people that you should be talking to. So this is going to be relevant for every one of them that you speak with. But this is going to be really, really good, and it's going to get you very close. Let's do another one just so you can see how this works. We have a solution that can save 30% on production costs for medical imaging components. We wanted to talk to someone who oversees operations management for parts and training. Perfect. Let's do one last one. We have a solution that can save 30% on production costs for critical care devices. We wanted to talk to someone who oversees product positioning, branding, and marketing strategy to make sure it's a good fit. Okay? This is how you get that level of personalization in every single one of your emails, right? And you can go ahead and do the rest of these rows. I'm not going to do that right now for you because you know how to do it for yourself. Now, if this is helpful and this is useful and you want to see this done at your company to make sure that we are getting the most engaged replies that we can, then go ahead and book a meeting with me. There's a link in my description. Go ahead and schedule it, and we'll figure out the best way to implement this and the strategy we should run with for your business.